Canadian General Counsel of the Year. Excellence is a habit, not a single act. It involves an irrefutable sure-handedness every day, day in and out, dealing with whatever challenges may arise. And all of the finalists in the General Counsel of the Year category define excellence. In selecting the General Counsel of the Year, our judges look for the ability to master complex issues in multiple jurisdictions. Equally important is the role the candidate played in fostering their company's overall prosperity and well-being. The judges were seeking the individual who represents the very best that this profession stands for. Here to present the General Counsel of the Year award is Emmy Babalola. Babalola, did I get it right? I hope I got it right, Emmy. Partner in Financial Advisory at Deloitte. Emmy, please come up and join me.
Good evening. On behalf of Deloitte, it's my pleasure to present the final award for the evening, the Canadian General Counsel of the Year. All of this evening's finalists have led their organizations and their teams through complex and transformational challenges, balancing risk management and strategic decision-making while driving business outcomes for their organizations, all in the midst of a global pandemic. Deloitte truly values our relationships within the legal community, and we look forward to strengthening those relationships as we face the challenges and successes that await us. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating this year's finalists for General Counsel of the Year.
Canadian General Counsel of the Year, presented by Deloitte. The finalists are Roger Chouinard, Quad Real Property Group; Christy Elliott, Parkland; Anne Fitzgerald, Cineplex; Shannon Higginson, Lululemon; Miguel Simard, Export Development Canada; and Mark Toppings, University Health Network.
And the recipient of the 2022 award for Canadian General Counsel of the Year is Anne Fitzgerald, Cineplex.
Aw, thank you. I have to admit, when I lost the litigation award, I thought, are you kidding me? It's like, what a year for litigation for Cineplex, and yet this is an unbelievably extraordinary honor, so thank you. And Doris, extraordinary, so proud of you. That was just lovely, and what an honor to be standing where you stood moments ago. And what a great bookend to my time at Cineplex. You saw up there that I'm retired. As of February 28th of this year, it feels very strange, but I'm retired. When I do take this statue home, I will display it somewhere in my home that is super obvious so that everyone in the house has to ask me about it when they come in. And a huge congratulations to my other finalists, my competitors. You guys are super impressive. For those of you who I didn't know, I did cyber stalk you before tonight to find out who you were, and I'm very humbled to be among your crowd. So thank you to the selection committee, to National Post, to ZSA. I am indeed flattered and honored. It's really interesting to have retired a few months ago. I never felt that I would be old enough to retire, but it happens, and here you are. And it's so odd to be looking for a change that isn't a bigger job or a bigger challenge. I'm just looking for something different, and I was ready for that. These last few years have been interesting, to say the least, working in an industry that was effectively shuttered. We were the first closed, and we were the last open. And we were working in crisis mode for over 2 years. You may know that Cineplex ended up in some rather substantial litigation, which for me was quite fun. Going back to my litigation roots, it's particularly fun when you win, and more fun when you win big. So it was a really good year. When we signed the deal to sell Cineplex in December of 2019, tucked away in our contract was
a relatively innocuous clause that said, if there's a pandemic, that's your problem, Cineworld, not ours. And a mere 6 weeks later, when film production was shut down around the world and release schedules were being delayed, our entire industry was terrified about what was coming and how this was going to affect us. We lived title to title. And it suddenly became the most important clause to many, many people who were not children on Christmas Eve. Even before our theaters and entertainment facilities were closed in March, we brought in the amazing litigation team at Goodman's. Thank you, guys, and thank you for this nomination. We knew our deal was going south. It was very clear, and I can't thank you all enough. Alan Mark, Peter Kola, Julie Rosenberg, Dan Cohen, and for my primary partners at Goodman's over the past 18 years, you have always made me look good, even when I asked some really idiotic questions. You supported me, and I really appreciate that. Tim Haney, Jeff Citron, Mitch Sherman, Dale Lassman, and a special thank you to my very dear friend and colleague, Dan Gormley. Snowshoeing across Baffin Island was a really good idea, and I thank you for inviting me on that adventure. It was a perfect segue into my new path, whatever it may be. Spreading the love around, I also want to thank Guy Lavoie at Lavery, Jeff Singer at Steichman, Jody Langan at Fillmore Riley, James Goulden at Norton Rose. Thank you for all your advice, your support, and your friendship. And if you'll forgive me for an inside joke to my fellow general counsel in the room, I'd also like to thank all of my CEO's neighbors who gave him really good advice that was passed along to me. And so I appreciate that. In truth, I've had the great pleasure to work with incredibly kind, honorable, smart, and funny colleagues at Cineplex. So Ellis, Dan, Gord, Susan, Tom, Mike, Sarah, Allison, all of whom are here with me tonight. I've loved working with our team, and I am so fortunate to have you as friends. To those of you in the room who I met 20 years ago moving to Canada, I thank you for opening doors for me. Kelly being one of them. She was my husband's RA in university. Can you believe that? But those relationships made such a difference, and opening doors made an incredible difference. I cannot honestly imagine how challenging it is to immigrate to Canada without the similarities that I had moving from the States. That was a hard enough move. While I have steadfastly clung to my Southern roots and as many Southern idioms that I can throw into meetings whenever the opportunity may arise, with each passing news cycle, I feel more and more Canadian. And I am more thankful to be Canadian. I remember taking the bar exam with people for whom neither English nor French was their first language. And hats off to all of them. And remember that when you're hiring. I often tell headhunters that litigators make great GCs due to the skill sets we develop in trial. Remember that when you're hiring as well. Had a lawyer been interviewing me to start an in-house team at Cineplex, I probably would not have gotten the job, as I didn't then have the specific commercial and securities expertise. But litigators seem to have a figure-it-out gene, and that serves general counsel really well. So to Ellis Jacob and Dan McGrath in particular, thank you for taking a chance on me. And finally, to my dear husband, Ian, thank you for all your support and your tolerance for all of these years, and thank you for bringing me to Canada. Best blind date ever.